Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Wayne. Today we're going to be taking a look at Roma's 2022 in review. Best player, best moments, best creative player, best goal, best match, and then what Roma need to do to move on to the next phase in the Mourinho chapter.
If you like my video, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Thanks.
So from the last time we spoke, you might notice some changes around the room. It's going to be evolving over the next couple weeks. I'm excited to see what it's going to become. For 2022, my support player was none other than the captain, Lorenzo Pellegrini. His key passes, being in the right place at the right time, his through balls, his impact on set pieces is all what influenced me. I think last season, towards the end, he looked very comfortable. Now, in the 2022-23 season, though, I think that his ever-shifting of where his positioning is, whether it's on paper, is kind of irrelevant because really what you see is that he's always being modified in his role, whether in the 3-4-2-1, 3-4-1, whatever it might be. However, as he plays through these injuries, and I'm understanding that he has been, not completely fit, and sometimes you see it by the actual input that he's given in the attacking third, is that he is still the main brain, I think, behind this team when it comes from either in a combo of a two, in that type of duality that he can offer with somebody a little bit deeper and he can impact the play as it goes forward, or if he's in the attacking third. And like I said, last year in the attacking third, he looked a lot better. But I think that as things go on, you'll see the real Lorenzo Pellegrini. I hope that this break will have done him really well, and he still gets my shout. 5 goals and 7 assists last season, the 14th most productive Italian. But once you enter the top 5 European leagues, he's actually the 6th most productive Italian, alongside Scamacca for 12 goal involvements. A couple of those people ahead of him were Zaccagni, Barella, Vincenzo Grifo, Domenico Berardi, and Immobile. So the big names, Grifo's Freiburg, they actually finished 6th last season, and right now they are in 2nd in the German Bundesliga, 4 points off of Bayern Munich, I think have 34 points, and 2 ahead of Red Bull Leipzig. So that's a very good team. Keep an eye on Vincenzo Grifo. Maybe he comes back to Italy one of these days, or goes to Italy. He's actually born in Germany. Pellegrini's 7 assists actually ties him for 3rd among Italians in the top 5 leagues. And once again, it's Zaccagni, Barella, and Berardi having the 1st and 2nd there. So he's tied with Zaccagni. When you look at his impact, I think in the national team as well, it hasn't always been there. I don't think he's been given the keys to the castle, so to speak, of Mancini's midfield. And I wonder if some of that is because they don't know where to play him, or because he's always shifting, because he can do a little bit of both, so he's not being pegged in to a particular position the way that, very much in the same way that Mourinho does. Sometimes he's up in the attacking third on the left or on the right, sometimes dropping back a little deeper. Sometimes he's playing as like a true regista, deep-lying midfielder, playing the long ball. So I don't know how much that helps him, and I would like to see him get a consistency in his position instead of this attacking jolly, as they're called in Italian. Okay, best match. You know what it's got to be. It has to be Conference League final. Roma takes that one to Feyenoord. And I'm going to run you through a couple of these key moments here. So Roma sat very deep and were patient for most of the game. They broke well on the counter, often hitting through the center with Tammy Abraham, playing that just right through, front and center. Nothing, as we saw maybe against Bodo Glimt, where the flanks were exposed, or Zalewski and him carrying it through the pitch. Not so much. This was much more of a direct, highway, Route 1 type play. Limited Dessers, who seemed to be their most influential player in attack. Sinisterra was there, but he was really limited in his attacking movements, and the defense was really good throughout this entire game. And then it's Mancini's long ball to Zaniolo from midfield, and Zaniolo chests it, puts it away. The match eventually does finish 1-0. I'm going to run you through a couple more things there. But with that goal, that touch makes me wonder how many more points Zaniolo would have if this team contained possession in the opponent's third, played balls in and around the keeper's box of the opponent rather than being on the break. Because we see Zaniolo's role now, and it's very much come back, run through the center of the pitch, take it yourself. Maybe if you have an attacking player, combine with Tammy Abraham, rather than the goal which he scores against Feyenoord, which is him just being around the box, getting a settle, 2 touches, maybe 3 at most, and puts the ball in the back of the net. And, that's a class goal, guys. Like, that's one of the best goals I've seen for a Roma player in, the past 2-3 years. And it's decisive. It wins Roma their first European trophy. Rui Patricio deserves a shout out in that game as well. He was very calm. In the 50th minute, he made a shot from outside the box from Feyenoord's left back, and that was an absolute monster of a shot. In the 81st minute, Smalling wins another super crucial tackle against Dessers, one which kind of saves the game 1v1. A little bit about Dessers. He's now at Cremonese in Serie B. Strange story for him. Super efficient play. Mourinho masterclass. For me, has to be the best match of the season, especially as Roma has continued to struggle against the top 4. Well, they did last year. Now Roma has picked up 3 points against Inter and a draw against Juventus earlier in the season as Juventus goes on their tear. So for me, that is number 1 of the calendar year, is the Conference League final. Roma Feyenoord. Roma takes home the glory. Best player, MVP. I think I called it, most impactful player, but I'm just going to call it MVP in my notes here. I know he's only been with the team for half a year, and he's only played like less than 12 games. It's Paulo Dybala. Come on, how could it be anybody else? 7 goals in 12 games so far, 2 assists. In 75% of his games, he's scoring or making the assist for Roma. When he does get a goal or an assist, Roma have 6 wins and 1 draw. And that draw, like I said, was against Juventus. Number 2, Tammy Abraham. I know that 2022-23 hasn't been so kind to him. When you look back at the goals he scored, and now as he starts to pick up momentum, I think not having the World Cup and Southgate in his ear, that type of pressure of trying to make the final team, I think that will do him some good. But when I go back and I look at Tammy Abraham's goals, I know that this is a kid who has so much in him, and it pains me when he has big misses, as he's had sometimes so far this season. But I know that as strikers get older, and so much of it is a mental game, and being able to finish is about concentration and maturity, that in the next year or 2, I think Tammy will really take off. Because, just once again, as I said, you don't take that talent away. And when you look at some of those goals, like the one he scored against Torino in their home, he puts on a wonderful move against the defender with his back to goal, and then splits into the box, gets past the other center back, and then just puts it right past the keeper. It's a class goal. I can't wait to see that Tammy Abraham again. I'm very excited. So 1 and 2 is Dybala, and then Tammy for player of the 22 calendar year. We got our supportive player with Lorenzo Pellegrini, and it's time to get to our best goal. And perhaps it's no surprise again that it's Paulo Dybala. 17th minute, Empoli Roma comes to the top of the box, maybe about 23 yards out, and it's still on the volley. Instead of getting it to the ground, what does he do? Upper left-hand corner. Slots it right in. It's not even a tiragir. It's better. It's better than that curling, from outside the top of the corner. No, this is much more difficult because Dybala takes it on the volley, slots it with the side of his foot. It is perhaps the best Roma goal I've seen since the days of Francesco Totti. I might go down with that one. I think I'm gonna, if you can think of anything off the top of your head since Totti, a better goal than that, let me know, because that was tremendous talent, and it just makes me so happy to watch Dybala. As soon as he scored, he just puts his hands up and he's like, I did it. I scored. And he doesn't even move. He doesn't run anywhere. The second one is Zaniolo's second goal against Bodo Glimt, where he's played in by Zalewski, and he puts in a reverse chip against the keeper. That was another class goal. And then Zaniolo actually goes on to get his first hat-trick in Giallorosso. And that one he just got right off the defender, pushes past him, and it's a volley to the upper far post. So that's that second goal by Zaniolo is my number 2. Paulo Dybala hitting it top shelf, and then Zaniolo for his second against Bodo Glimt. Heart and Hustle Award, Chris Smalling. The team does not play the same without him. When Chris has his injury struggles, as he sometimes does. They're not as organized, they're not as composed, they're not as calm. Use any of those buzzwords, but what he really does is his game IQ impacts this team so much for the better, and he's a player who never quits. It's so unfortunate, I think, that this past year that Osimhen scored that tremendous goal against him, and Napoli's just been out of this world this year. And he's a player who just keeps Roma in the games. He's got such a great capability of getting on the end of goals with his heading, and like I said, his calmness. And I can't believe that Southgate did not grab him and bring him to the World Cup. Maybe it could have ended a little bit different for England, as in the last 5-10 minutes against France when they really needed that goal, and you're throwing long balls into the box, and should have been. Into 2023, I think we'll see some interesting things. We'll see Tahirovic enter the frame. I'm hearing that, especially against Bologna, but I will be doing a Bologna preview. The team is going to come so much more together with the re-entry of Dybala and Wijnaldum, who I don't want to even say re-enters because he didn't even get a true chance besides the substitute appearance first game of the season. Spinazzola hopefully finding his top fitness again after his lengthy rehabilitation and also just getting back into the swing of things. Solbakken arrives. That's going to be a nice treat, I think, for Mourinho on the wing, speaking of Bodo Glimt. And this team will come together. You have to always consider that with time and one of Europe's most winning managers, that Roma will continue to click and they will build something hopefully very special as Roma still competes in the Europa League, still fighting to get into the Champions League, and to make something special this season. I think they can as quality continues to enter the fold. Let me know what you think. Give me a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you. We'll talk soon for the Bologna preview. Ciao.